Welcome to Scrapbook My Life, where I tell you an embarrassing story to save you from making the same embarrassing mistakes I did. I was in 8th grade, and I was having a bad day. I got a C on my math quiz, I forgot my PE clothes, I messed up the words in choir practice, but thankfully, the day was almost over. I just had one more class left. I walked down the hallway to my last class, but as I rounded the corner, I felt something hit my shoulder. Suddenly, I was cold and covered in water. I looked up and saw my best friend Katie laughing. She had just hit me with a water balloon. At school, in front of everyone. I had been so focused on having a bad day that I totally forgot it was also April Fool's Day. This was officially the worst day of my life. I was mad. Even if it was April Fool's Day, Katie knew I was having a bad day. How could she do that to me? I had to get back at her so she would know what she did was not cool. I spent the rest of the day cold and wet and plotting my revenge. I came up with the perfect plan. Maybe even the most perfect plan I had ever come up with for anything. Katie ambushed me with a water balloon in the afternoon. I'd one-up her and ambush her in the morning. I'd hide out in her front yard so early that I couldn't possibly miss her leaving for school. Then, when she came out all dressed and ready to go, I'd release the water balloon. There would be no time for her to go back inside and change. Her hair was going to be wet and frizzy all day. The next morning, I asked my mom to drop me off super early at Katie's house. I was not going to miss her. It was so early, in fact, that it was actually still dark outside. I had stayed up late studying for a math test the night before, and I was exhausted. But that would not stop me. I was on a mission. I crawled under a bush and got ready to wait. I waited for what felt like forever. But then, finally, I heard the front door open. I heard footsteps. I grabbed the water balloon. The footsteps were getting closer. Then, they were right in front of where I was hiding. I jumped up and sent the water balloon flying full speed at Katie. The only problem was that it wasn't Katie. It was Linda, the old woman who lived next to Katie. It had been so dark, and I was so tired while I was hiding, that I didn't even notice that I was in the wrong yard. I had been hiding in Linda's yard the whole time. Linda screamed. I screamed. Linda stared at me with horror. I stared at her with horror. "Who are you?" she yelled. "And this sweater is cashmere," she added. My plan had not just failed, it had fully imploded into a pile of wet cashmere. And to top it all off, Katie had already left for school. I was stuck there until my mom could come pick me up. I ended up being an hour late for school, and I had to pay to dry clean Linda's sweater. It was $30. I had to clean the Johnson's gutters like 3 times to make that kind of money. I didn't even see Katie till recess. She walked up to me. I braced myself for her to gloat again about how good she had gotten me with the water balloon the day before. But as she got closer, I could tell that this was not Katie's gloating face. Instead, she said that she wanted to apologize? I was not prepared for this. Katie said she was sorry. She knew I was having a bad day yesterday and that it wasn't cool of her to prank me anyway, even if it was April Fool's Day. What? My revenge plot had been unnecessary all along? Katie looked at me for a second and then asked, "Why do you look so tired? And are those sticks in your hair?" I told her the whole story of what had happened this morning. Katie laughed and said she thought she saw something moving in Linda's rosemary bushes this morning. And then she helped me pick the rest of the sticks out of my hair. That's how I learned it's not always best to fight fire with fire. If your best friend does something that hurts your feelings, it's usually better to just talk to them about it. Otherwise, you might end up having to spend the last of your gutter sweeping money dry cleaning an old woman's sweater.